the next one's, okay, 3 plus 7, that's 10, they're both on a Wednesday, and they're both going to be the same time, I think, 3:40 to 5 p.m. Let's go, and this is going to be at Moore Hall. Ditto. Okay. So I think I already got someone for dinner, both of you, Haley and Melanie. I need a volunteer to go to dinner. If you want to raise your hand now. You have to be credible once you commit. I hope you don't change your mind. If you change your mind, let me know. I get someone else. So think about it. I will ask again next class. Okay, you might want to check your schedules later. So again, there is this extra credit means if you come to the session, you get 2 points. If you sign up and stay to the end, if you write half a page of summary, this applies to both sessions. I tell you, it makes a difference. I mean, if you attend both. So basically, half a page, I do not want it typed handwritten. And what some students have been doing is they sit down, right? They kind of like jot down everything like note form, and then later on they write a little bit better. So this is not like, don't hand in your notes. I'm not interested. I'm interested in like one paragraph. Half a page, one paragraph, full sentence, because some students give me their notes, because that shows that you cannot write, this is a writing class. So there are students who wrote only 5 lines. They got the full point because they got the gist. There's students who wrote like 1 page and maybe not get the full credit because you're not quite getting to the point. You see, so I'm looking for something very concise. Can you summarize the whole thing? The gist of the message, basically. Okay, we're starting inflation today, the topic on inflation. Have I passed a sheet?
No.
Whoa. What did I pass just now? The 2 colorful pages with that Ruth?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we got that. Okay, your homework assignment. I think most of you got it, except for that last question, maybe only 2 students got it. The last question about the price of CD, there is no shift at all, no change. So if you start doing a diagram like that, you shift and mark it along. So what I'm looking for, your homework assignment that you handed in the last class, what I'm looking for is something like that. If the price drop, the quantity demanded for CD goes down, or vice versa. Remember I told you that difference is very important, there's no shift at all. But movement along the demand curve, because the factor is its own price. If it is its own price, like what happened to the quantity demanded, there's a movement along the demand curve. We ask questions like that next week on your test, so that's very important. Now, I sent an announcement about the pages.
No.
On your homework, yes, question?
Are you looking for like how we label the graph?
No, nothing at all. If you make any shift, that means you don't understand the question, yeah. No shift at all, only for the last part of the question.
No, I'm saying like with the. Never mind. Maybe.
I'm also looking at this, but this is not as important. But
Okay, that's
most
what I
of
was
you
looking
shift the graph. This is the last part of your answer. Okay. So A, B, C, D.
Like she wants me to write another.
I think I'll go over it towards the end. So yes, there's a shift in demand in the first case. Second case is a down shift to the left. The first one is shifting to the right.
Yeah.
And you do have to label it correctly, because some people like part C, you shift the graph.
That's correct.
It should be the graph for CD, not for MP3. Some of you do it the other way. Like the other one, hamburgers and pizza, you should do the graph for pizza, not for hamburger. Remember I gave you the hint, look for the word market. If the question asks for market for pizza, that's the diagram I'm looking at. Because if you do the wrong one, it's just the opposite. So the last part of the question, which is part D, because you only have 4 parts, right, is what I'm giving the answer, because that's the one that most students think get it right. There's no shift at all. Okay, so let's go to inflation, but I will go over this very quickly if I have time. I think I should have time, yeah. Oh yeah, your page number changes. So, yeah, there's all the homework pages seems to be a little bit off, and I have corrected them. They're on the new syllabus now, and that should be in red. Let me show it to you because some students have done the wrong homework, especially towards the end. Did everybody get my email over the weekend? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Okay, so please do that correction. If you have your hard copy, all you have to do is look up that updated copy and change the page number. It doesn't matter for homework 1 and 2 because it's history now, right? Mm-hmm. If you have already handed in, but we got 4 more sets that you need to do the correction. I'm not going to spend time doing that, but I assume everybody could do that. But just remember you need to do that. Because when you get to that last assignment, I get 2 sets of answers because some student forgot to change the page number. So you actually ended up doing the wrong question. Okay, we're going to talk about inflation today. This is a very exciting topic. What is inflation? What do you know about inflation? When the word inflation comes to mind, what do you think? What comes to mind right away?
Too much money.
What's your understanding? Yes.
If it's too much money.
You lose money?
Too much money.
You lose too much money?
The change
Ow.
the price
No.
of money changes.
No.
Like the price of money changes.
Yes.
The price of money changes.
The price of the money,
Like if US dollars change.
okay. The values, okay.
Yeah.
The values of the money changes, yeah. Not so much about US dollars versus other currency because that's foreign exchange. So more like the value of the dollar at this point in time has, well, let me give you one example so you can understand. How many years ago? I was trying to think. When I was a teenager, the city where I lived, this is back in Singapore, they opened up the first McDonald's. I went there every Saturday because my meal is very fixed every Saturday night. I'll take buses. Just to go to that McDonald's, I'll have milkshake, vanilla milkshake. I'll have they didn't call it meal back then, Big Mac. And then I'll get back to my apartment, and then I took time for me to eat that hamburger because it is so thick. You have to open up your mouth, so big, so wide. When you finish it, you're so full, Look at that milkshake, it's like, oh boy, something else to conquer. The milkshake, if you turn it upside down, it won't fall. That was the quality back then. Today, if you get it from McDonald's, what happened? Turn it upside down, there goes all the whipped cream. And it's very liquid. And if you look at that Big Mac, you could finish it in 3 bites because it's so thin. This is inflation. You're paying the same value of money, but actually inflation happened. And most of you could relate to this when you drive to the gas pump every day. Are you concerned about the prices? Yeah. 2007, somewhere 2008, I think. Yeah, somewhere 2008. The gas prices almost went up to, I think, $4 per gallon. So I did an online class and our students discuss and students talk about that because it affected them quite a bit. What's today's gas price?
$1.80.
Really? It's $1.80 something? Where did you get your gas? What's the cheapest one? Quote me. Did anybody get $1.70 and below? Raise your hand.
Depends on where you are. Not here, not in Pembroke.
Well, I know, yeah. Where'd you get it? Huh? Where'd you get your gas? Did you raise your hand?
Yeah, in Salisbury.
Oh, how far is that from here?
About 2.5.
20 miles?
2 hours.
Is that in South Carolina?
You're sure.
Okay. So you can get it for a low price from a different town, yeah. Because if you drive to South Carolina, which is only 20 minutes from Dillon's, right? Pembroke, I think it's, the gas prices are cheaper. So now, people relate that to gas prices, inflation, a lot of time. So, consumer price index, you read this a lot in the newspaper and it's on the news a lot of time. Its short form is CPI. What exactly is CPI? This is the index that we use to measure inflation. Okay, so we're going to learn how to compute this CPI. And I think the last time I let you off earlier, I forgot to talk about the project because I remember now at the end. In fact, I just let it go, but if I push one more button, there's another slide talking about your project. Anyway, that was history. So we just make use of the time we have now. Okay, what consumer price index is? How do you compute it? How do you compute inflation? Because some of you would choose the topics, you may want to choose inflation as your project towards the end of the semester. Okay, the definitions say for any period, you measure the cost in that period of a standard basket of goods and services relative to the cost of the same equivalent basket of goods and services in a fixed year known as the base year. Okay, we talked about base year last class. Could somebody define what is a base year, please, in your own words? It's got nothing to do with baseball. It's got nothing to do with New York Yankees winning all the World Series. The years that they win all the... It's got nothing to do with baseball. What is that? Yes, Melody.
It's like the year,
Meredith, yes.
the year where there wasn't any economic, like, distress, like if there wasn't a recession
Okay.
or anything.
Very good. Base year is a year that you base it from when you compute your nominal versus real value. Remember we talked about this? So, the difference between nominal and real value is, in the case of real value, this could be in GDP, it could be in income, it could be in wages, anything that has dollar value attached to it, even interest rate. I know interest rate does not have dollar values, but percentage, okay, these are real versus nominal. The difference between the two is all this real value you take into account inflation. So inflation is very real because it eats away your money. The value of your money actually goes down because of inflation. Okay, so base year, back to what Meredith just defined roughly, that it is a year that's free of economic disturbances. So you do not want to pick a year, as I said before, September 11, 2001, that's not a good year to pick. 2007, 2008, the nation just experienced this great recession. You do not want to pick this year because these are the years that you have recession. You have high unemployment rate. Did anybody remember what was the unemployment rate in Robeson County in the year 2008 when recession started? About 12%. That's extremely high. What about Loringburg? Anybody from Loringburg? 16%. Moore County? Anybody? Pinehurst, Southern Pines? Okay, that's a little bit better. I think it's about 8% because that's one of the richest counties in North Carolina. So this is how you compute CPI. So you got two numbers. You got a fraction. You got a number on top. You got a number at the bottom. So the bottom number is always a base year number, and that's why you have the word base at the bottom. So you have a fraction, and base year calculation is at the end. So again, you use that same thing we talked about in calculating the GDP. Anybody remember? That will be your PI, QI. I is equal to 1 to 3. Remember we calculated the apples and bananas and the 3 pairs of shoes, right, for the economy known as the orchard year. So here it is. In order to construct the CPI, to figure out what inflation is really, in a nutshell, you pick a base year. So pick a year that's free from all these economic disturbances. And then he conduct the consumer expenditure survey to determine the basic basket of goods and services. What in the world is that? Consumer expenditure survey is something that the government is conducting every year. They go around and ask you to fill out a survey. They ask you about prices of goods that you consume on a daily basis. Like for example, things like how much is your rent of your apartment? How much did you pay for hamburger? How much is your cell phone subscription? We used to ask that about 30 years ago. Nobody raised their hands because nobody had a cell phone back then. What you had was this very heavy military type of cell phone. How could they call it a cell phone? You know, it's so heavy you could whack someone with it. Right, today we have this cell phone that is so light, so portable. So cell phone would be a good one to be included, but then there was some problem, okay, because of the quality, because today the cell phone you have has much better coverage, correct, than what you had 10 years ago. When was the first time you had your cell phone? Give me a year.
I had a track phone when I was little. Like
What is that?
a track phone, it's like you prepay for the minutes. So
Oh, that
basically
kind,
you could like
oh.
you can only call your parents really.
Okay, and what year was that? How many years ago?
I think I had it in like 6th or 7th grade.
Okay, yes,
I was 10.
same thing?
Yeah, I think I was like
Yeah.
10 or 11.
Flip phone that had like no camera or anything. Can't do anything with it.
I had a
Okay,
Motorola.
that is still around.
Mine was just like watching
Yeah.
These brands.
The flip phone, yeah, they're still around, it's just, they have cameras now, of course.
my phone.
Okay, so now let's look at this equation here. So on top will be, you will have the summation of PIQI for current year. Okay, so at the bottom will be the same thing, if you only have 3 goods, and that could go to as many as 100, you know, because you have to get a good representation of all the goods and services consumed by the economy, by everybody. This would be for the base here. So remember, the basic calculation is always at the bottom. So this is like your CPI thing. Okay. So that should be in your book. Can somebody look it up so we know what chapter, what page it is on?
69.
Right?
69.
69, thank you. 69. I hope you're right.
Yeah.
Can we find it?
Yeah.
Okay, wait till my finger turns it. Okay, very good. All right, now example. So we picked 2 years, 2010 and 2015. So usually the current year is a more recent one, so that would be your 2015. So 2010 in this case is your base year. Everybody got it? So if you read the title, you understand that's what that means. So we got 2 sets of numbers for all 3 goods and services we have. And this example should be in your book if you have your book with you. By the way, please do not forget to bring handheld calculator for your test next Tuesday. Very good. You have it today, that's good, but be sure you bring it on the test day because you get extra points. Yeah, negotiate with your grandpa and grandma today. So your test is coming up Tuesday. Make sure I have that and bring it to the class here. Okay, so now, so we got 3 stuff here, three things or goods or services. The first one is 2-bedroom apartment. The renter is 2015 is the current year. Let's say it's this year. I know this is 2016 now, but I haven't updated it. 630. This is only January. It just started 2016, so of course January is not even over. 630, but in 2010, which is 5 years or 6 years ago now, it was lower at 500. Okay, so you collect all these prices, and hamburgers 60 at $2.50 each. Why 60 hamburgers? So because this is talking about on a monthly basis. The monthly, your monthly, ran to 630 in 2015. And he consumes 60 hamburgers in a month. Let's think about it for a second. How many would that be a day? 2. assuming that they are 30 days. So yes, so you have 2 hamburgers a day at 250. So 250 times 60, you get 150. If you have your calculator, you can take it out and work with me. But I think the number is simple enough so far. In 2010, you have 120. So how much was the price of the hamburger in 2010, assuming that you still have consume about 60? How much? Excuse me, how much? So it'll be 120 divided by 60. Y'all don't understand the question. Let me ask you one more time. So if the cost of the hamburgers for 60 hamburgers is 120, how much is the unit cost of the hamburger in 2010? $2. Okay, you got it. Okay, let's look at the movie ticket. At today's price is $70 because you consume, well, it's $7 each and you consume 10. That seems a lot, isn't it? But that's all right. 10 movies a month. So 70 right there. And then right here you got 60. So how much was the movie ticket in 2010? $6. Very good. Does everybody understand how to get that? You take 60 divided by 10, assuming you consume the same amount of movie ticket 5 years ago and 5 years today. You got 60, and then what you do is add it up. Got 850 here, you can do it longhand, or you can use a calculator. You got 680 here. I hope you do it because you might have an in-class exercise coming. I haven't looked at the PowerPoint yet. Sometimes it surprises me too. I don't know what's coming, so you be ready. Pay attention now how to do the calculation because soon it will be your turn. So cost of living will be you take the cost, okay, in the current year minus the cost in the base year. And then divided by the base year number, not the current year number. So this base year, is the term base is very helpful. Okay, you're not dividing it by 850. You're dividing it by the base number. So basically, that's how you calculate percentage change, really. So you got 170 divided by 680, and if you use your calculator, what number would you get? Those of you who have calculator, go ahead, tell me what's the number. It's not 25%, what would you get? In decimal, you should know it in your head.
0.25.
Yes, Dante?
0.25.
Very good, thank you, 0.25. And then 70 divided by 680 should give you 0.25. And again, you have to multiply by 100 to get the percentage rate. Every time you talk about rate is percentage. You have to multiply by 100 to get 25%. So that means inflation has gone up by 25% in during those 5 years. That's how you calculate it. So let's do a few definitions, which is also in your book. And then we're going to do some calculation. So be ready. If you have your calculator with you today, bring it out now. This is a good time. Okay, what is CPI? Again, definition, it measures the average. The word average is underlined for a reason. Level of prices relative to prices in the basic. So in other words, you go out to the economy, you look at everything. You look at agricultural products, you look at computer products, you look at precious metals, you look at agricultural goods, yeah, you look at services, banking services, everything in the economy, in all sectors. And you take an average. That's a very, very big average, because you have to have so many sectors in the economy out there. So CPI gives you the average. Okay, but a while ago, remember, we look at two products, movie tickets and hamburgers. We also look at service. Apartment rent is considered a service. So rate of inflation measure how fast the average price level is changing over time. So once again, the word average here should be underlined. Do I have it? Okay, where's the line? When I look for it, I can't find it.
You have to hit enable editing.
Oh, whoa, whoa.
Go back.
It's not worth it, never mind.
Hit enable editing.
Yeah. Marginal cost is too high. I know. Could have let you off early, right, with that time I spent. Okay, so measure how fast the average price level is changing over time. So just be sure you underline the word average again. Now the rate of inflation basically is what we did earlier. That last calculation is the annual percentage rate. That means you want percentage of change in the price level. So I hope everybody in this class know how to do percentage change. Now we'll see if you know how to do it. That's very basic. In your high school math, I think you do it every year. Freshman and at least freshman year, you've done that. So that's exactly what we calculated just now. Okay, the 25%. Now the word deflation, you get it? Deflation. Have you heard that term before, anybody? You have. What does it mean? You don't know, but you heard about it. And you think it might have something to do with inflation. You're right. Deflation is the opposite of inflation. How? What's the direction of the price change? Down. This comes from the word deflate. You know, everybody drives a car here, right? You got tires on your car, I hope. 4 tires. If you deflate your tires, means no way, flat. That's what it means with deflation, right? So everything goes down, prices are down. The general price, the average price overall in the whole economy is down. And this is talking about the state of the economy, that you have negative number in inflation. You could read the definition, but again, very quickly, it just means that it's just the state of the economy in which prices are dropping. When was the last time we had that? You don't know, do you? Let's look at figure 5.1. What was the year that we had deflation? See how quick you are. Raise your hand if you want to answer that question. Yes? Yes, yeah, Miss Martini.
Like 2011 or something like that, like, it doesn't have a specific number, or like 2013.
You need a little bit more precise. It's around 2009, somewhere there. Okay, you actually have a negative number. Your textbook is good, look at it, because I don't have that. Do you not have textbook? How many of you have the book with you today? Okay, then you should be a little bit more responsive. I'll wait till we do that in-class exercise and everybody wakes up. You need to start, oh yeah, it's coming, let's see what happens. Yeah, I don't know yet, we'll see what happens, okay? Question mark, yes, you gotta do this. How many rows we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, very good. So I'm gonna do one calculation for you, and then I want each row to do one, and then feedback. In fact, better still, but you are not very quick because you see you're not responsive. We got to do this very quick. Okay. So we're gonna do it by row. But first, let me give you an example. Okay. Don't panic yet. Example first. The rate of inflation is the annual percentage change in the price level. See, I never know because some years I get PowerPoint slides that everything fill in. So then students don't have to do it, you know, they like that. But then I never know what I get, depending on what I click, you know, which file. So, all right, in order to calculate the inflation in 2007, you're given a set of 5 years first. So everybody pay attention first, because you have to understand. So we give you a set of CPI. What's the observation about the CPI so far? What trend are they moving? They're moving up, yes, 2.02 all the way up. So you could expect the inflation rate to go up because they move in an upward direction. So the first one they calculate for you. So what you do is you take the current year, everybody listen to me very carefully, don't get into calculation yet because it's very important that you understand. So you take the current year, so if we ask you what is the inflation in 2007, given this set number, then you take 2007 number minus the previous year. CPI, which is 2006 number, so 2.07 minus 2.02. The whole thing, I hope you got basic algebra under your belt. Otherwise, we're gonna have big trouble. 2.07 minus 2.02, this is a bracket divide by 2.02. So it's what you do. And then if you use a calculator, you get some decimal point. And how do you get 2.5%? Because you multiply this by 100, which means 2.47%, which is the same as 2.5 if you only want to have one decimal place. And look at the other set of numbers, the Great Depression. 1929 to 1933. How many of you have heard about Great Depression? Okay, what do you know about it? Tell me. And when the word Great Depression came about, what first come to mind? Oh, come on, you should be throwing words at me now.
Stock,
Not hearing anything. Starving? Did I hear starving?
stock market crashed.
I'm sorry, Meredith?
Stock market crashed.
Okay, very good. That's a good description. What else?
Dust Bowl.
Sorry?
Dust Bowl.
The what?
The Dust Bowl. Like when the crops went away. The Dust Bowl.
The Dust Bowl.
Dust Bowl.
Oh, okay. What else?
I say when people are poor, there's no money.
What about unemployment? Do you think there was unemployment?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So the prices are falling. Look at this number. This is less than 1, the CPI. It keeps falling. So you should expect the inflation rate to be falling. It helps even in negative. Okay, so I would like everybody, well, not everybody. How about row 1, you would do 2008. Row 2, you do 2009. And then I'll randomly pick y'all could discuss, it's fine. 2010, third row. And then last row, Nick, your row would do the 1930. And we start all over again, 1931, 32, 33. Yeah. So just calculate it and then I just randomly ask your row, yeah. But at least you're not doing all, right? You are assigned 1, yes.
You want us to round up?
I'm sorry?
You want us to
That's
round up?
fine, yeah. So if you want to do all, because if you understand how to do it, you have a calculator, you can do it very quickly.
It's like what? It's like
Yeah, where are you going through?
3.9.
So I would like for you to write it out.
Are we rounding it?
Yeah, that's fine, that's not even the main question. I would like for you to write out the equation nicely. It's fine, yeah, 1 decimal place is fine.
Okay. What'd you get? 2.15.
Okay, what is 2008?
It's like
Let's take 2008 number.
3.9.
3.9.
Are y'all in agreement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3.9%. What about 2009, row 2?
Zero.
Oh, you got an easy one. Goodness gracious. 0%. 2010.
1.3.
2011.
Well, if we're rounding up, it'd be 1.4.
Yeah, that's fine. What, 1.4?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
There wasn't a 2011.
2011?
It was not.
There
wasn't 2011. It was
Oh, 2011? Okay, I would jump. Yeah, Nick, what you have? The group.
Negative 2.3. Negative 2.4.
1930 is negative.
Yeah.
Can you be louder?
I said negative 2.4%.
2.4, okay. Come back to you. How about second row, because you got the easy one. Second row, you would do 1931. First row, you could do 1932. And then third row, you do 1933. Okay, once you have the number, just raise your hand. So we can move forward very quickly. In the past, I asked students to hand in this, but it's taking students too long. And you have to use this equation,
9.
okay, but apply it. Yes, Daniel?
I wasn't raising my hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dante, your group has it. What about over there, Syria, your group, you have it?
Not yet.
You're still working on it, okay?
I think 1933.
Jonathan, your group has any number? Oh, you're free. Yeah, you will not assign. Yeah,
We got ours.
yeah. What's your number?
Negative 9.1.
Are you in agreement? 1931. How about 32?
No, we're 1932.
Oh, you're 1930.
Yeah.
You can check.
9.9. Yes.
What did you get?
1931. Do you have it, Stuart?
Negative 8.9%.
Okay. How about the last year, 1933?
Negative 5.1%.
Yes?
Negative 5.1.
Negative 5.1. That's Margaret, right? Okay, very good. Did everybody know how to calculate this, or only a few people know how to do it? Okay, let's see if you're right.
It's definitely negative.
Woo! That's the answer.
Accidentally did 0.1.
2.5, 3.9, and 0. 1.4. You got 2.3. Okay, that's fine. 9.0, close enough. 9.9, 5.1. Very good. Let's talk about it a little bit. So as you can see, the inflation goes up here, and then it actually improves a little bit. What about during the Great Depression? You get all the negative numbers. So you're experiencing deflation during the Great Depression. What else can you observe? They actually got worse, deflation. And then it got improved. That means improved already because it's moving up. Less negative. Oh boy. Oh, this is a pictures of a Great Depression. What do you think? Why are they lining up for? What are they lining up for?
Free stuff.
Free stuff. Like what? Mink coat?
Rations. They were rationing on food.
Let's see what that sign says. Free
soup.
cup of coffee and those. So they're not lining up for jobs, right? You will see a long lines of job applications, applicants lining outside. Of course, there's nothing to offer, but at least someone could offer food. You know, I was looking at this picture last night and say, wait a minute, this guy is wearing a mink coat. What's he doing there? And then I look carefully, oh, excuse me, that's not a mink coat because that's very expensive. Does it look like a mink coat to you? Anyway, so there's a long line of people waiting to be fed because that was during the Great Depression. So back to this figure in your book, if you have it on page 71, figure 5.1. Historically, you see this. How do you describe this line? I'm looking for some description. Other than?
Fluctuates.
Okay, very good, Haley, very good. Other than it's a red line. Can you describe the shape, anybody? I'm sorry, yes? DJ, what did you say?
DJ.
Are they all positive? Let's break it down. Are they all positive?
Her name's not DJ.
No.
Okay, well, what's no? Which one is no?
2009.
Okay, right around 2009, you experienced a dip. Oh, come on, be more proper. We just learned that wonderful word known as deflation.
She said DJ.
I'm gonna throw in 10 stars. Hilton. Deflation is not the same as deflation. Did y'all get it?
What?
No. Deflation is a state of the economy. Okay. Deflating is the process, write this down please. Process of converting a nominal value, we'll do example coming up, into real value. Okay, is there anybody want to describe this line here. There's only one line.
Convert.
Okay, it fluctuates, that's a very good description. What else do you see, like, a little bit more description?
Process of what?
Do you see Twin Towers? Like the World Trade Center? Not quite, but do you see a Twin Tower somewhere?
They're not twins.
You see it, don't you, Syria? What year is it?
How? They're not.
She can see things, yeah, well, let's ask her. What year is that, the Twin Towers?
1975.
Very good, 75 and
80?
right around 80. This, very good, Syria, very good.
Can you
does that
read what
say?
deflating
Yeah, what
says?
does that
Liz can read it.
Oh my goodness, that bad.
Yeah.
Process of converting.
Oh,
Is the
wow.
process
Okay.
of converting nominal value into real
Serious
value?
accounting?
Not a,
I thought it said creativity.
I
Didn't make any
Well, I
sense.
can see correcting, but accounting?
I just
That's
heard her when she said it.
Process
That's the only
of
reason how I
converting
know.
nominal value into real value.
Oh, that's real. I thought it was red.
What is real value? Good question. We just done that earlier. What's real value? When you take into account inflation. Well, let's talk about this two twin towers that CEO was talking about. That's very important, two twin towers. Have you heard about the first oil shock? Anybody? Social science major? Social science, social studies major. Nobody. So this is in the early 70s. Okay, have you heard about second oil shock? In the late 70s? So you never learned these events in social studies?
Nope.
Oh boy, you got cheated. Let me tell you the story. The first oil shock happened during the year of, or during the event in the country of Israel, known as, do we have any Jewish people here? The Yom Kippur. This is a Jewish holiday, okay, and, yes. This is a very famous Jewish holiday. It's like our Christmas. Okay, on that day, the countries of Israel was attacked by the Arab League nation. So there was a big event going on. All the Western allies did something. They took some action. Anybody remember that action? What do we describe that action? Usually, if we have older students in this class, hey, jump on and start telling stories.
Sanction.
Nobody? Have you heard about oil embargo? Now you have Okay, so that's what happened. The Western Alliance countries started to have oil embargo, meaning we're not going to buy oil from this OPEC, from these oil-producing countries in the Middle East, basically. So because of that, it affected the U.S. economy tremendously. In other parts of the world, too. I saw the Singapore number. Inflation that year was 25%. In the U.S., what do you think? The first peak, somewhere around 12%. That's very serious. So what happened was, if you remember, go home and ask your mom and dad, maybe your grandma or grandpa. What happened was, it was a gas line. There were cars waiting in line. And you look at them, you say, why didn't you just ditch the line and go to work? They can't. Because the minute they ditch the line, the next time they come back and get into the line, the price would have gone up by 10 cents per gallon or even 20 cents per gallon. It is that bad. Some of the older folks in my class before, they say, yeah, I remember that happened in Pembroke in this particular gas station. It was a long line of gas because people wanted to get the gas, you know. So that was the history. And after a while it was okay. And then did anybody remember second oil shock? This is during Jimmy Carter's time. By the way, we're taking a group of students. Is this macro or micro?
Macro.
This is macro, very good. The Federal Reserve Bank and Jimmy Carter Presidential Museum on March 18th. It was on a Friday, a week after the
No, she said it's like
spring break. We're taking a group of students there, so when the time comes, I'll let you all sign up.
Sweet.
Jimmy Carter, president. Yeah, he was a president back then. Did anybody remember what happened?
I want more.
Okay. Well, y'all have watched all these movies about the incident. Do y'all remember the hostages
Oh,
situation?
Iran hostage crisis, yes.
That was held for about a little bit more than a year. So what happened was the countries of Iran. In the past, they were very modern because Shah, I cannot remember how to spell, but the king of the Iran was very modernized, very pro-Western. So anyway, he made the countries very modernized. The women's all, they don't have to cover up so much. They can let your hair loose and no problem, man. So it's not, it's very modernized. And then overnight, there was Islamic leader, considered very extreme, took over the country, and his name is Ayatollah Khomeini. And that was back in 78, 79, somewhere there. So when he took over that country, the countries changed overnight. A lot of intellectuals fled the country and came to America because they were afraid of being persecuted. And what happened was overnight, you walk out and women started putting on covering. Everybody dressed in black, overnight. Everything changed. And it was a whole bunch of religious fanatics. It went to the American embassy. What happened? You know the rest of the story because there were like at least 5 movies being made that you could watch, So they took hostages, the American hostages, I forgot how many of them, and they were being held for, oh boy, more than 365 days. I think it's a little bit more than 400 something. I can't remember the exact number. And then Jimmy Carter was on his way out as the president. The next president was sorry?
Nothing.
I hope you know. No, not Bush. Bush is very recent.
I'm about to say it's too Bush.
The movie star.
I'm about to say.
Reagan.
Ronald Reagan. Yes. Yeah.
Who was the
He
president?
became the president, and what happened was that Jimmy Carter was trying to work on a deal with these countries. You don't negotiate with the terrorists. That's usually is the thing, right? But so he was trying to work. You cannot work using diplomatic relationship. You have to use the mercenaries to try to get those people out. So anyway, so at the end of the story was Jimmy Carter was trying very much to get the credit because as the president of the United States, you want to have some kind of legacy. I free the hostages, but it didn't happen. And I think Reagan was sworn in. The hostages were I think they were released minutes after Reagan was sworn in. So basically Reagan got the credit, but if you go back and read the historical account, some people argue that Jimmy Carter should get the credit because of this difference between Eastern time, Western time, and the mountain time, all that. But anyway, that's somewhat interesting. So the same thing happened. There was a big shoot up in the price of oil. And so you see that second peak there. So that was what we call history, in economic history, as a second oil shock. So it's a very interesting historical event that I think all economic students, at least macroeconomic students, should know. So, and then you got some fluctuation, but basically these two are the main one. And you got some in between too. Okay, let's look at how to calculate inflation very quickly. Now, a lot of time you look at, there are 2 sets of CPI number. This one on the right is called core inflation. Now, in the case of core inflation, you take into consideration, you minus off the effects on food and energy. Because as I mentioned earlier, a lot of time when we think of inflation, we think about gas prices. Or even food prices in the last few years have gone up quite a bit. I don't know if you notice it. When you go to Food Lion and buy things, it's more expensive than it was last year or the year before. So anyway, these numbers are smaller, okay, if you compare across like that, except for this one, during the deflation year. So the reason that the numbers are actually smaller is because in this core inflation CPI calculation, we actually exclude or remove the food prices and the energy prices. So therefore, the inflation rate is actually not that bad if you include the core inflation. So that's all that there is there. And so now we're coming back to this deflating. Okay, that's what it is about there. What's the difference between nominal value and real value? We read this the other day. We say nominal value or nominal quantity is something that you measure, you look at it in the current dollar value. Like the current year, 2015, 2016. Now the real quantity is something that measured in physical terms, like the other calculation we had in the last class. Now if you have been missing classes, you won't hear the last class, it is your responsibility to catch up, because if you don't, you won't understand this material, because we talked about this last time. Okay, so this is in terms of quantities of goods and services. We look at the physical volume, not the value. Okay, finally, deflating is an action term or a process of converting the nominal value into real value. Basically, what you do is divide a nominal value by a price index, in this case CPI, to get to a real value. Now, this is kind of like very vague until you give an example. Let's look at a few examples here. The first example I ask you to do, be ready with your calculator. 2 years, again, 2010, 2015, and then we have 2012. So we got two kinds of income. The first one is known as nominal family income or household income. And then we give you the CPI 1. Usually that means if the CPI is 1 for that year, usually it means that that year is your base year, okay? Because in the base year, we talked about it last time, your nominal value and your real value is the same because you're dividing by 1. So in order to get the real family income for the year 2010, we take the nominal income divided by CPI to get the real family income. So in this case, it's the same because you're dividing by 1. So basically what this does is, okay, so you got nominal value divided by CPI. Please write this down. This is your real value. This is how you get it. So I hope you understand these two are not the same, deflation and deflating. Two totally, well, they are related, but they're not the same thing. Okay, so now if you want to calculate the nominal value, you would multiply. Multiply means you get bigger. Divide means you get smaller. If you have 3 cookies, I say divide it up among 3 of us. You're not so happy because you get 1. Divide means you get smaller. Now multiply means I say, well, you only got 3 cookies. Go ahead and multiply it 10 times. You say, how? Just times 10, bake more cookies, that's it. So times 3, you get 30. So multiplication gets bigger. So in this case, you take real value times CPI. Okay, be sure you write this down. Okay, so now if you look at 2015, you look at the nominal family income is $44,000 now. Is that good? Let me ask you. The first time you look at it, you say, oh yeah, this is wonderful. It's $4,000 more than 5 years ago, right? That would be the first reaction, correct? Until you have figured out that, wait a minute, there's a 25% inflation because it's now 1.25 your CPI. So you take the same nominal value, family income in this case, or household income divided by the CPI, which is 1.25, you get $35,200. Are you better off or are you worse off? Worse off in real term. So this is how much inflation can do to you. Look at that. You're not better off in real term because of inflation. Now, if this CPI is 1, then you are better off because, your real value will be 44,000. Okay, what about 2012? Go ahead and calculate that. What is the real value? 42,000 divided by 1.15. What do you have?
It's like 36,500. Around it.
Whoa. What is the answer? I hope everybody does it because in the past I actually asked students to hand it in.
It's 36,521 and 73 cents.
And how many cents?
73.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's talk about this number. So I asked you, what was the real family income in 2012? You just calculated by just taking this number divided by it. So then I asked you the next question, how did it compare to the real family income in 2010 and 2015? Now you answer this question slowly. First you answer the first part. Let's answer the first part. How did it compare to the real family income in 2010? Are you better off or are you worse off? You are worse off because this is less than 40,000. What if you compare the same number to 2015? Then you're actually better off. I'm pointing this out to you because before when we did this kind of calculation, it was like the student cannot be precise. You have to be very rigorous and answer the question. What did I ask you? Okay, since we talk about base here, why don't we talk about baseball stars? You got 2 examples here. How many of you had heard about Babe Ruth? Okay, famous baseball players during the Great Depression. So, how many of you have heard about Barry Bonds? Some, not all, okay? So let's look at their salary. Okay, 1930 versus 2001, their nominal salary was 80,000 versus, can someone read this in English?
10,200,000.
Okay, very good, 10.3 million. Or you could say 10,300,000. Well, no, it's easier just to say 10.3 million, okay? Easier, right. So that's a nominal salary, and then look at the CPI. Now, we already know, during the Great Depression, it was less than 1. And during 2001, that's kind of like September 11, this may be just before, 1.78. So again, you take this number, take the first set of number divided by second set of number, you get something else. But look at Babe Ruth. And what's the base here? We didn't tell you yet. The base here we use 82 to 84. You could use a number of years, okay, to even it out and to kind of like average it out. So in the case of Babe Ruth, right, his real income has gone up. What about Barry Bonds? His real income has actually come down using the 1982-84 as a CPI. And that's only 60% roughly of how much you earn in nominal income. So I want you to be knowledgeable about such a thing called inflation, such a thing called CPI. So the next time you sit across your table from your boss, your future boss, you tell your boss, you know what is the difference between the real wages and nominal wages. You might be impressed. Tell him what is indexing. So which we'll talk about it coming up. Indexing is actually the opposite of deflating. Versus indexing. Now I'm introducing that term for the first time. They're not the same. So real wages is basically you have taken into inflation if the workers' wages. So what do you think? Same thing, if you want to calculate real wages for a period, you just basically change this to your real wages will be your nominal wages divided by the CPI. of that particular year that you have in question. And that particular year usually refers to the nominal wages, the year of the current year value. So let's look at the example here. This is very interesting example. So again, we use the CPI 1982 to 84 series of years as a CPI. And then we give you 2 years. We say 1970 to 2010. What's the difference in years there?
40.
Okay, very good, 40 years there. And your average wage in 1970 was only $3.40, maybe an hour. I don't know what kind of job back then. 2010 is $19 per hour. Again, this is your nominal wages. What your boss pay you at the end of the month? Or at the end of the day, however that was measured. And look at the CPI, again, you got a very small number, less than 1. This is a lot higher than 1. So this is a very high inflation there. And look what happened in the last column. So when you calculate the real average wages, again, you take that first number divided by a smaller number. So your real values goes up, 8.72. But if you divide by a bigger number, that number actually comes down. At the end of the day, they are the same. Wow. What do you say to this guy? You're not better off than 40 years ago. They don't like to hear that, but that's true. You know, once you've taken this class, you know that. A lot of time your nominal wages keep going up in red. That's a happy face. Look at your real wages. What happened? More or less stay constant. Yeah, that's kind of like sad. So if you're educated about what is inflation, you have more bargaining power. When you sit across your boss's table, you say, aha, how about index my next wage contract? So what is indexing? Well, then you have a chance to tell him, educate him. He might be so impressed that he will give you higher raise, more percentage. So what is indexing? This is a process of increasing a nominal quantity every single period by an amount equal to percentage increase in a specified price index. For example, I know this may be kind of like vague. If I give example, it helps. So let's just say inflation goes up by 5%, okay? So you read in the Wall Street Journal and says, oh yeah, the next few months or next year or so, we predict inflation is going to be 5%. And then today you sit across that table with your boss, you say, how about it, boss? Look at this. That's what the Wall Street Journal say. You say, inflation eat up my money. I'm not better off because of inflation. So let's work something in so that I get certain percentage of raise compatible with that inflation rate increase. Usually they don't give it to you exactly 5%, very rare. They give it to you kind of like a little bit below it. Still good enough. At least you're catching up. Indexing prevents the purchasing power of the nominal value from being eroded by inflation. Either way, basically. Indexing automatically adjusts certain values, such as your Social Security payment. The government has this system in place already. They already thought about it. It's not like, macroeconomics is new. In fact, the term macroeconomics came about after the Great Depression. The nation felt like, the whole country felt like you learned a lesson. So everybody suddenly was very interested in macroeconomics. What happened? Why did the stock market crash? Why was it so many people committed suicide during that time? What happened? Why is it many people out of job? So anyway, what you do is the price increased 3% in the given year. The Social Security recipients could also receive 3% more. So you work it in. So the Congress wouldn't have to do anything. It's automatic. So that's nice. So let's look at this example very quickly. And I think I erased it already. That is, if you want to do the multiplication, remember I mentioned it earlier. So your nominal value wages will be, real wages times CPI. This one is multiplication. So if you have some 3 years here, okay, your real wages, let's say, goes up by 2% each year. So 2% of $12 will be 24 cents. So you add 24 cents to it, then you have 12.24. You add another 24 cents to that, you got $12.48. So the price index keep going up by 5% each time. But that goes up by 2%. So we ask you today, what should you pay your workers in terms of nominal wages? So this is working backwards, see what I'm saying? So if you already know this is going up by 2%, this is your goal. This is what you want to achieve every year. After that, you want to do 2% increase, 2% increase. So what should I pay the workers today? So in order to do that, you multiply. So this is what we do. 1 times 12, we got 12. 1.05 times 12.24, you should get higher number. So today you will pay the workers that number if you expect 2% increase. So likewise here, even higher number. So this is how you figure out the 2% thing. I think I'll stop right here. Yeah. So be sure you read up, and then on Thursday, please do not miss the class. I'll finish this up, and then the following Tuesday we'll have the assignment. And, I'm gonna have to give this out. Yeah, on your way out. Kiana, are you here? Okay, Kyle. Okay, Kyle. Yeah, carefully.